All right. Good night. Good night. Good morning, really. The Will Smith slap happened a couple hours ago. So the slap felt around the world. The real, true start of World War III, and the true start of a red pill week. This week is definitely going to be. This week is definitely going to be funny. Give me a sec. Let me test sound as always. I just want to make sure I am heard. Let me test sound as all perfect. Alrighty, so most of you guys will catch this on the playback. Don't expect anybody to join the live or anything like that. But for those that do catch the playback, I appreciate you all the same. Like, really do appreciate the people that do give eyes to my content, and also engage in the content as well. That is much appreciated. But we, as always, we are in this space to break down things and to give better understanding to the things that we see on a regular basis. That is why I've been in the space, or was drawn to the space. I was looking for answers. I found the most acceptable answer thus far, and continue to find even more answers and better understanding and observation. I just came back from the gym, so got a little bit of energy. So we're gonna go over or the inspiration. I've been thinking about this for a while. This phrase "turning out your daughters" is something that Edward Anderson has come up with and said how a lot of these women are turning out your daughters. You know, your aunt, your moms, your aunties, especially your aunties, and your what's it called? Your daughter's peer or friend or female peer or their female peers. You know, if you have kids, that is. Um, and it's very true because my whole take on it is that it's emotional programming, and this is a part of my red pill breakdown series, or the sub series of emotional programming. And a part of emotional programming is what it's about is that people are putting out certain information and thoughts, and they're broadcasting those thoughts on the airwaves or the wire or the wireless, um, to other people, and it's programming the way people perceive and actually look at the worldview or shape their worldview. So when you have a lot of women talk about how men are toxic, or they don't want to be hurt, or they don't, there's just way too much um, ain't shit niggas and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff comes and starts on the street in your everyday life, in your personal situations, but then you start to see it on TV. You know, Maury, I think, just finally retired. Ricky Lake before that. From what I remember back in the day, I used to watch the Ricky Lake show as a child, and I think that was like my middle school days. So Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer, most definitely, for all the excitement, especially if you're up late at night on the weekends, Jerry Springer marathons and stuff like that. I remember that. But a lot of that stuff goes to emotional programming in the way that people actually look at the relationships that they're going to get into, and whether they know it or not, whether they're conscious of it. We are being programmed. Sorry, whether we know it or not, we're conscious of it. We are being programmed. We are being made to think these, or made to given these choices in our minds, and not really be given other choices. And a lot of people are not independent thinkers. You could say, hey, listen, you know, you have the choice of free will, but what if that free will is influenced or tainted by another person, or by your environment? You know, you have free will, but if you only have two choices, I mean, how free is that will? You know, what if you can create your own third choice? Like, okay, hey, listen, you got to cross this bridge. Either you're going to cross the rickety bridge, or go back where you came from and possibly get killed by those who were chasing you, or what if possibly you could fly? Like, but like that third choice of flying is just not there. So really all you can do is cross this rickety ass bridge. So that's just kind of how most environments work. And I also have a thought of just, people can't handle more decisions, and we're seeing how most humans nowadays, they have more decisions and they don't know what to do with themselves. It's too many decisions. You see that quite a bit, especially in the business world. You don't give your boss like 50 decisions. Your boss will always say, hey, listen, just give me two, or just give me the one you want. make the decision for me, things like that. People want their lives to be a little bit easier. D Scott, wow, appreciate you being up, man. Appreciate you showing up here. I really do appreciate that. But we're gonna go over summer walkers. Yeah, that's definitely a key to a prompt to get into it. So I got an audience for ever how long, man. Make sure you get some sleep, get some rest, man. But if you're up and join me for this. So this is something that Ed has talked about, turning out your daughters. That's where the title really comes from. But this falls in line with my emotional programming series. And then also, I was just listening to something. I think Dee Dee is her name. Yeah, Dee Dee. She's a content creator of, she's like a Pink Book Lessons or what have you. And it was, what was I listening to? Yeah, bonnet wearer would rather sell box than, get a 9 to 5. Also things like, I thought I met the love of my life. The Stefco video is retitling that and actually adding her because I never did it, because I never did it originally. So putting her in the title. And then I've had this going around for a while, and I reached out to Ed, I believe, a couple weeks ago about this, maybe doing a stream talking about this and breaking it down. But I definitely wanted to get to it myself. All right, without further ado, we're 6 minutes in. Let's get to it. So Summer Walker, I believe this song is a good song in terms of the feeling and what she's trying to put forth, how, some women might feel about this and how they might want to give up on love and things like that. So I understand the premise of it. Musically, it's a good song. I almost feel in some cases it's almost like too short for how long can a song be. There's a lot of feeling and emotion into it, which is why it's so easy to get emotionally programmed by these things, to the point where you're saying, well, maybe I should be a hoe or have this hoe phase, so on and so forth. And in this case, Summer Walker's not really broadcasting or programming other women. She's really personifying, or the song is the personification, embodiment of the thought process, or I think the word is zeitgeist, if I was to use big words, if it's still a big word. But that's the zeitgeist, the common thought process out there right now. So actually, let me look up zeitgeist, because I want to make sure I'm using that right. Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. Yeah, the general intellectual, moral, and cultural climate of America, or of an era, America. All right. Too early for big words. Yeah. Yeah, it's too early for big words. Let me keep it simple and get into it. It's even worse when you use a big word and you're like unsure. I'm so notorious for that. So Summer Walker's Just Might. And this is the emotional program that women put out there, but in her case, she's actually just consolidating it, or making it succinct, or making it consolidating it and presenting it in a succinct, concise fashion. She's putting it out there, and this is just like a culmination of so many thoughts into like one thing, and then presented to the world in a musical format. So Think I Can Take No More. So we look at this thing like thinking I can't take no more. And this is just the usual thought process of women, where they say, hey, listen, I'm at work, so I'll be up for a while. Oh, okay, I appreciate you joining me, man. And hopefully this gets you through it. Hopefully this won't be too long, but I'm like BGS and Ed with that. Thinking I can't take no more. And this hits a lot of people, because we get into these relationships and we get into breakup, or we get to the breakup portion of it, and it's just like, man, I can't take this no more. Why can't I find the one? Or why can't I find somebody that's better, that's really for me, and so on and so forth. And that, quote unquote, leads us down a dark path in some cases, or leads us to do things that are not rash, or are not thought out long term. And you're always thinking like, man, screw saving. I just want to spend the money now. I want to let this shit go. Like, especially for dudes, we do this. Because I always tell people, or I always say in these videos, the emotional programming series, this can be done for men as well, in terms of our music and everything. So women can actually do that from their perspectives if they can really break it down. Definitely should. All right. Thinking I Can't Take No More. And then if you listen to this song, she says, thinking I can't take no more. Like, she says that very softly, and it says, I just might be a hoe. And like says it like very like, and uh, says it with conviction, right? As soft as she can, along with the music and riding the beat and everything like that. But I just might be a hoe, like just like you could hear it, and it's just like that hits you, right? Because if you look at the comment section for this video, which we will, we'll see that people like really resonate with this song in so many ways. But let's get through it. And it says, I swear, I just might be a hoe. For real, for real. What am I missing? So that's the question that a lot of people ask themselves when they're coming out of a relationship. What am I missing? What about what I'm doing? What about what I'm doing is not right? How am I excuse me, how do I continue to fail? And a lot of people don't look at it as that. It's like, oh, it's his loss or it's her loss. But really, at some point, you only say that to cope with the fact that you may have thoughts of inadequacies, that you failed in this, things like that. Always taking L's every time I try with a nigga that just don't hesitate, gone. Like, and that's like, okay, that person just doesn't hesitate. They always leave me. So why should I actually be a person that's loyal? Why should I be loyal to anybody else? Might as well just put it out there and sell this box, and it is what it is. So I just might be a hoe. And the thing is, the connotation of hoe, this is a problem I have with words and redefinition of things and terms, but these are just, this is just how it is in our society, where we read our terminology, or the dilution of terms, as I said in a previous video, but the dilution of terms occurs. So things like hoe is short for whore, or prostitute, somebody that sells their sexual access to vagina for money. But if you're a hoe and not getting paid, are you still a hoe? Because hoes get paid. So are you a hoe if you just give your vagina out there and get nothing in return? Not even the emotion, not even the attention or the emotion from other people, or the level of emotion or attention. Sorry, emotional attention from people, like that investment. Like, if you don't get that, are you really getting quote unquote paid, for your box, your services, if you will? In the past, that has been called being a slut, right? A lot of people don't like that word. Of course, you have terms like slut shaming and things like that. This has been called a slut. Now you're a hoe, short for whore, and also professionally known as a prostitute, actually more professionally known as an escort. And that's the problem. These words are shortened and then redefined. And so a hoe was really always something that you look down on. But now being a hoe is great. It gets you money, like putting yourself out there. It gets you ad money and AdSense, gets you eyeballs, and then gets you advertisements, so you can actually sell wares and other products, merchandise, to the people that are that you're thirst trapping, that you're putting yourself out there and looking at. So that's crazy, but that's where we're going with it, because at this point in time, I just might be a hoe. That actually has monetary benefits. That actually makes more money than just being somebody that can raise a family, that has a quote unquote boring life. We talk about all the time. You can't improve yourself you can't improve yourself. Don't improve yourself for the bitch, as Grinch would say it. And it makes sense, because if you improve yourself for a person like that, how are you? You improve yourself for a person like that. You always see that you never meet or exceed their expectations or match their expectations, because sadly, they don't even really know their expectations. And this is what I call the superiority paradox, which I'll make a video about soon. And I mentioned it on the Edge stream earlier tonight. But it's that paradox where if a woman thinks she's higher than you, such as like a stripper or a dancer, like Summer Walker, and even like a dancer that I've dealt with, where she said, I want somebody that matches my hustle. And then you find out in her regular day job, she only makes 35 grand a year, and she strips to supplement her income. And it's just like, a dude at McDonald's, a manager at McDonald's, can match your fucking hustle. Calm down, please. So it's the superiority complex where they think they're better than you, and then when they find a man that's better, he's still not good enough because he may only have 2 out of 3 of your check boxes. So therefore, you're still not good enough, which is crazy. So going back to this, that just don't hesitate, gone. What am I missing? Seems like going on. Seems like you gain. This is it right here. This is the thing that's turning out your daughter. This is the line that's turning out your daughter. And excuse me for waxing poetic and drawing this out, but seems like you gain more from a sugar daddy or a drug dealer. This is why these women don't want 9-to-5 guys. I was watching Blacklight podcast. Good brother Andy has good breakdowns, and he's one of his content sources is the 8 at the Table, where they do the 2-person interviews, man and woman side by side. And one of the women on his latest video, she was talking about, I don't want a 9-to-5 guy, and this is a woman that's like with makeup and everything, she's still like a 7. So yeah, something like a 7, but really she's like a 5, 6 or something like that. And when I say these ratings, I'm not going to even boast and be like, oh, I can go get this woman. Sadly, you can't even get an ugly bitch nowadays. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother thing. But it's to the point where you can't even get an ugly bitch. This is crazy how this shit is working. So, and the thing is, people are paying for it. So it is what it is. But, in the video, she was talking about how she doesn't want to deal with a 9-to-5 guy. And with this, he won't match the lifestyle because he would have to ask for time off. They can't just jet set and go and stuff like that. She needs somebody that could match her lifestyle and the freedom of her lifestyle. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense that you could be anywhere, like if you're somebody maybe like a marketer or something like that. Essentially, she probably just does. I don't know what she does, but you could see, you can guess. You really could guess, which is just funny. But anyways, but she wants a man that can, quote unquote, keep up with that and match it. And this is what a lot of women talk about with keep up, because they're so subsidized, or they have ways of, making money on the go. Like, taking a picture of them on the airplane actually has some type of value, because that actually is a life that a lot of people, women mostly, want to live. So it's really kind of crazy that, you can almost, in some ways, a lot of women are lesbians. They like other women so much that men are secondary. And it's kind of crazy that a lot of women just want another woman, but in a man. So a lot of women are mentally lesbians, that could be something. That could be something. A lot of women are mentally lesbians. That could be a whole nother video in and of itself. But seems like you gain more from a sugar daddy or a drug dealer. Meaning somebody that is not, like I've said before, and this was brought up because of, I think her name is Courtney. Yeah, Courtney Michelle, I think it is. Courtney Michelle, I always want to say K, but I think it's Courtney Michelle from the Lapeef Network, where she was talking to her baby daddy. And she was talking about how I never felt like a single mother because you were always there, and you always, I could always talk to our daughter and said, hey, listen, your daddy's not going to like that. And then she could call him and then he'd be right over. And I said, whoa. I stopped the video right there and I was like, oh, I'm poking my own damn eye out. I was like, oh, okay, this is something. This is big right here. And one of the things was, it was commitment. I made a video about it. Commitment without attachment. A lot of women want commitment, but without the attachment of actually having to commit to that person. They don't want to pay what I like to call the relationship tax. If I argue with you, you can't kick me out the house. I'm not, me personally. As much as I love sleeping on my couch and my recliner, you ain't gonna make me do that. You gonna sleep on that motherfucker before I do. And trust and believe, I do have a sledgehammer. I will knock my own doorknob off and get in my damn room if I need to. You can go sleep in the kids' room for all I give a fucking care. But you ain't gonna kick me out my own bed. Me personally. That's just how I rock. But A lot of women want that commitment without attachment. They don't want to pay the relationship tax, and a part of the relationship tax is even if you don't like that person, you still gonna sleep with that person. In terms of like sleep in the same bed, you're still gonna work it out. You're still gonna be there to get through the problem, so on and so forth. There is no quote unquote escaping, which is what a lot of women low key talk about in terms of women of past generations being in marital slave or looking at marriage as slavery, because a lot of these women couldn't escape. And why couldn't they escape? Because they could not support themselves. Not that women have so much and they have sugar daddies or drug dealers or scammers or simps or what have you, whatever you want to put there, Will Smith, whatever you want to put there. They have all these things that will subsidize them and allow them to actually allow them to continue on their life without having any type of repercussion or anything like that, or any type of issue. Let me get rid of this block user. Any would allow them to go through all of this without having any type of issue in terms of providing for themselves. They ain't missing a meal. In fact, they got, every meal is Cheesecake Factory or better, and or Red Lobster or better, or whatever, or Ruth Chris, a nice steak, blah blah blah, or better. So seems like you gain more from a sugar daddy or a drug dealer. We spent so much time on that line, but that's a very important line. That's a pretty big one. Pick me out the club, one hit, one hit, and I don't want to know. So pick me out the club. So you have to understand Summer Walker is a former dancer, stripper, and I believe SZA is too. For those that want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are former dancers, and these are the people that are emotionally programming other people and other women. I was watching a video from this guy Taekwondo, and what was crazy, he was breaking down the video of this. I see him a lot, like in young YouTube, whatever, where it's light skinned dude, and they're putting him in front of a lot of different women, and he's a content creator, and he's light skinned dude with dreads, so he's checking all the boxes. He's got the money, he's got the drip in terms of the swag, and he's got the look. Or that's a drip, and then also he also has the physical look, that the physical look in terms of body type and whatever, and mouthpiece. Yeah, that was the other thing. So he's got all these different things, light skinned dude. So he's checking so many boxes for a lot of these women where they're openly saying things like, "Yo, listen, I wanted to do the content, and then I found out, and then I thought to myself, I wanted to do you," and then getting to the way young girls think about these things and then older women think about these things, it's always, I'm grown. Listen, I'm grown. We could do whatever. Let's get to this. And she was so unapologetic. He was doing the backseat prank, which was hilarious. I'll put the video. Let me look for that video right now. But the guy Taekwondo, I need to get the original video, but it's funny because if you put that next to what's her name? Oh, Steph Co. Young brother has 185K. Let's see here. Yeah, it's showing up good. All right, so this brother, he has 85K. He gets on the Melly Monaco channel quite a bit and does the what's it called, the dating stream. So he always tries to hit on these women and stuff like that. But I mean, he does his thing, man. Like he definitely does his thing, which is, hey, shout out to him, man. This guy Primetime, I guess it is. I know I'm digressing here, but this is a pretty good point this is a pretty good thing here. But this guy here, so you could see in terms of the look, not just matching colors, but also the changing of colors and having those things that stand out, and then also the bravery, if you will, to wear those things, the confidence, if you will, to wear those things. And then, the woman's next to him, how her head is leaning, how she's talking, how she shows off herself and things like that. And he starts to really get into, he starts to really, like, you could see how, like, he breaks these women down in so many different ways in terms of how he actually talks to them, and it's funny. But then we go back to the song. Seems like you gain more from a sugar daddy or drug dealer. Don't know what this guy does, but at the same time, he fits that mold. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't look like he does a 9 to 5. You don't even know when they're filming this. If anything, they're filming this in the middle of the day or something like that. This is not really happening at night. Also, the women that he's going after, these are the women that personify Summer Walker's Just Might Be a Hoe song, or, you know, what Summer Walker even models herself after, which is kind of crazy. So when you see all this, this is all the stuff that comes out of it. OnlyFans model seduces okay, cool. KKVHS. I don't or VSH. I don't know how you say her name properly. But I gotta find this in terms of his content. I'll put it there later, but let's move on. But it's pretty. You could see how that guy fits that mold, and he was doing the backseat challenge and didn't tell the girl that the recording was done. But pretty much you could tell that after the recording is done, like, they probably got it in. She was down for it, and she was unapologetic about it, even saying that her baby daddy can't fight and all this other stuff. But she was like, I'm grown, and this is a girl in her early 20s. But then you fast forward to when you're 37, 38, and you listen to O Stefco, and she says in her video, but I'm grown, okay? And, like, that's her explanation. That's how you explain it away, which is kind of crazy. But then you start to see how these decisions are also made, and how these decisions can be funded in terms of their mindset. All right, so Pick Me Up the Club, one hit. So pretty much you get a chick and the dude tricks on her, or tricks her in a sense to, you know, you could say trick on her. I mean, you know, money is exchanged in one way, shape, or form. Either she's getting more attention out of him, or what have you, or it's more than monetary for her, and she wants a little bit more. She wants emotional connection as well. She wants emotional currency, or dick currency, as Ed would say. All right, so keep playing. Keep playing. Love is a losing game, and I just can't take no more. So, like, you really start to play into women's emotions, where it's just like, yeah, this is a losing game. I'm not winning. I'm not getting the guy that I want. I was watching a reaction to a video where a young black girl actually approached a white boy, and the white boy coming out of football practice, and she, you know, tried to talk with him, and he was like, oh, I'm already talking to this person. And then, you know, the girl starts boohoo crying. And it's like, hey, listen, you know, I understand that proximity causes that to happen, you know, like where you, what's it called? You're hitting on the, you know, another race and stuff like that. No problem with that. Actually, even no problem with her approaching, going after what she wants. And, you know, I thought that was actually okay. But we're seeing where afterwards, this is where a song like Just Might Be, or Just Might, would come in and start to change a couple of things, where she's like, well, I can't even get the man that I want, or the person that I want. Fuck it. I'm just out here living my life, doing my thing. I'm grown. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it happens. This is how this creeps into your mind, and then starts to really reprogram you, and change your mindset and your thought process. And it's easy for a lot of people. I want to say it's easier for women, but it's easy for a lot of people. It's easy for men. I remember a woman in South Florida, her name is Cookie, and she was what was she? She was a promoter, and she said it's easy for women to be to be prostitutes and strippers, and it's easy for men to get into the drug game, to do illegal stuff. It's real easy to fall into those things. And it's easy, like, it's that easy because it's also easy to get a job, especially easy to get a job around even where I work, right, or where I live right now. Like, I can go and get a second or third shift job today, immediately, with no problems whatsoever. So why is that not easy to get a job, but it's easy to prostitute and strip or sell drugs and do illegal things? It's all programming. It really is all programming, and we all suffer from it. And a part of what we do in the manosphere is for us to, this is all pattern recognition. This is all looking at what's going on in front of us and understanding and breaking it down and looking past the surface, you know, looking past, you look at a car, looking past the panels on the car, and actually looking at the framework, the wire harness, what's going on in the engine, and how everything works. A hoe. Yeah, hey, just might be a hoe. What am I missing? Seems like you gain more from a sugar daddy or a drug dealer. That's my singing voice, by the way. Seems like you gain more from and like, so, and then Party Next Door says, Shorty's been tripping for so long. How long do do she think it could go on without her fucking anybody body? I don't know anybody that work at Follies that don't fuck anybody, right? So that's you're a dancer, and like that's why a lot of like it's, I guess, upstanding for a dancer not to be selling pussy, or she's too good for that. That's the higher level of strippers or whatever, where they don't have to sell box to make money or whatever. So, but it's bullshit because most of them do sell box in one way, shape, or form. Like they're all selling box, which is it's just funny. And what happens nowadays is that they don't, because even me as a trick, you really have to convince a woman for, like, this is how bad it is. You really have to convince a woman to accept your money. Usually, and I've said this for a while, like, where the hoes really at? Like, what happened to all the hoes? Like, a lot of women just aren't good hoes. Like, a lot of strippers or prostitutes or what have you aren't good hoes anymore. They're just horrible. They really do actually, quote unquote, have to like you. You have to have somewhat of a mouthpiece. Not so much game or anything like that, but it's not just like, listen, respecting the trick and what he's doing in terms of the transaction, in terms of the money that he's providing. Now it's just like, even tricks are getting disrespected for their money. Again, this is why I have my theory about, like, ugly bitch pussy is actually good pussy, because if you did, and the premise of it really is that if you get a woman that's 1 or 2 rungs lower than you in terms of looks and everything else like that, that she would actually look at you and be more attracted to you, and then you get better out of her, which is crazy that you have to be attractive to somebody that you're paying, which, again, all I'm telling you is what I see on the ground. I'm not telling you, like, I'm just looking at it and this is what I see and this is the breakdown. This is how crazy this shit is even to me. All right. But you're really seeing this quite a bit where it's like, it's odd behavior and it is illogical behavior and it's bizarro world behavior, pretty much. All right. So must think my mind is doing Lottie. Okay. I know that you have bodies after bodies. I signed up when I called you Bonnie, like Bonnie and Clyde and stuff like that. So, you're starting to see where, again, a lot of dudes we have accepted this behavior. I remember I was talking with a woman and she was even telling me how she showed me and sent me the photos that she wanted to do for OnlyFans. Yeah, leverage. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of what it is. It is a little bit of leverage, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is, why do you have to have leverage for somebody you're paying? As far as a woman valuing more than you value her, yes, exactly. And it's just like, why do you have to play that game? If our value is already transactional, now I have to. And thank you for that, because this makes me really break down something I've seen where it's just like, now I have to be even more valuable to this woman just so I can give her a couple dollars. That's crazy to me. That's some wild shit. That's just really crazy to me. That's kind of how things are playing out. And that's kind of what I'm seeing, where it's like, you really do have to, show that you have more value, just so you can actually give up your money. It's probably because I'm fat and ugly. There's always that part. There's always that part. Felix the Observer. Hey, listen, observers. The observers don't talk, man. So I do appreciate you engaging here, brother. Burning that late oil, young grizzly. Salute to you too, brother. I appreciate you, man. And as I always say, guys, you know, and you guys really never have to comment or say anything, but you do, and I appreciate that. And you guys can always catch the playback and interact in the chat. But we're going through Summer Walker's "Just Might Be" or "Just Might." I always say "Just Might Be," but we're pretty much finished with this. Um, you know, I know that you have bodies after bodies. I signed up when I called you Bonnie. So a guy like me would listen to this and it's like, wow, you know, like this is a really good song, really blah blah blah. But then a lot of men will actually get programmed like by this because now this is now we're past the T-Pain "I'm in love with a stripper" age. Remember that? Like, I'm in love with a stripper, she riding, she rolling, I'm in love with a stripper. Guys have been programmed for a long time. Now, T-Pain, Tallahassee Pain, or Tampa Pain, but T-Pain is same as Summer Walker is an embodiment of what an embodiment, a consolidation of a tincture, if you will, of what's already out there. You know, so when he's saying these things, there's a lot of dudes that were already thinking that he just put it in a song form to where, you know, you could use it as a line. And then a chick starts dancing and she's like, you know, she starts dancing on you. And he's like, I'm in love with the stripper, or like, I'm in love with the bartender, or the bartender song. You know, these are things that have already been happening. He just put it in a musical form and then put it out there. And the next thing you know, years later, now it's like women saying, I just might be a hoe, or guys, I know that you have bodies after bodies. I signed up when I called you Bonnie. Like, he signed up for you being a hoe. This is okay. And it's okay to the point, and I'll admit my own things. I always admit my own flaws or thoughts and things like that. Talking with Grinch, and again, it's just a conversation I had with him. But it's getting to the point where if a lot of these chicks are already doing hoe shit, you might as well go ahead and fuck a hoe and have a baby with her. And that's an extreme thought, but it really popped in my head, and I was just like, well, might as well have a baby with a bitch that you like. I mean, if these ugly bitches are out here and doing all this shit, and you can call it tricking surrogacy, I don't fucking know, but it's to the point where you having a problem trying to get an ugly bitch or an average looking woman, a decent looking woman. You could be making six figures. Or you can look at myself. I weigh a lot, so that's that, and I don't get a haircut, so that counts against me as well. But then if I look at my finances, if I look at what I do for my work, so I have that, there's the stability there that provides. Also, if I look at my assets, that's even more stability. So if I lose my work, I have maybe 2 or 3 months of expenses, or I can cover 2 or 3 months of expenses without really having to sell much of anything. 2 to 3 months of expenses without having to really sweat. So that gives me more than enough time to chill and train and possibly find another position. So it's like all this stuff is available. And then you have a lot of people accepting remote workers. So that talent pool for a lot of people has widened. And we talked about this in the stream that I did the other day with our brother, Richard Dixon. But the talent pool has widened for a lot of these companies to where they can get anybody anywhere at any time. So it's a great time for a lot of us. But, you know, even with providing all these things and having that opportunity, I think that's 4 or 5, but having that opportunity that we can actually say, hey, listen, we can leverage as men, it's still not good enough. You know, and men have to do so much. I have to do so much, I guess, to quote unquote convince a woman to actually be with you. And I know this is not just me, and I know I'm using my own story, but you're looking at even the Will Smith situation earlier tonight, where his wife openly disrespects him by talking about her former love, like Tupac. It's like, all right, bitch, get over it. He's dead. Like, I don't know if you're a Tupac fan. I don't give a fuck. I haven't been a Tupac nor Biggie fan. You know, they're not here. I've always been a Jay-Z fan, and definitely a Nas fan, a big Nas fan. Like, yo, shoot him up. You know, the Carol where he talks about, like, you know, how he's a gun and stuff like that, and those story times. A Slick Rick fan, so on and so forth. To be honest, like, there's just so many other like great artists out there. It's just like, yo, come on, like, let it go. It's like, let it go. They're gone. So But this shows, a lot of people just can't let things go like that. But when I hear, she talks about Tupac, and then, talks about, promoting or enabling other women to, like, when she talked about talk to Aisha Curry, and then saying, hey, listen, it's okay to feel the way you feel about, you not getting as much attention as your husband. And it's just like, bro, this is Steph Curry you're talking about. Calm down. And then the entanglement stuff. Even before the entanglement stuff, I think there was that one chick where she, I think it's Jordan Woods or something like that, where she was friends with one of the Jenners, and then she kissed or allowed herself to be kissed by one of the basketball players, whatever. But and then the entanglement stuff. So she's out here enabling women and doing all this stuff, enabling women to have this fucked up mindset and actually be disloyal, or not even really take the seriousness, or not even really respect the sanctity of their relationship. And then also, she doesn't even respect. And then it shows because, or this all makes sense, and it shows because she doesn't even respect her own relationship. And then, even with all that, with Will Smith tearing up and doing all this stuff on the Red Table talks, he still Chris Rock tells a joke because she's bald headed, and we don't know if she has cancer or something like that, but he laughs about it. And then when he sees his wife is not okay with it, then he goes up and slaps the shit out of Chris Rock. And not even slap the shit out of Chris Rock. Me and my homeboy was talking about it. Like, Chris Rock ate that fucking slap on some, like, little nigga, like, appetizer. Like, like, it's just like, fuck that slap. But, that happened, and that was it. I mean, that's clear assault. If Chris Rock wants to press charges, he can press charge. But what we saw is a gynocratic CompuServe protect protect his mistress, his overlord. And then you have somebody like Chris Rock, who's usually red pill and talking about things like, conditional femininity and conditional love and stuff like that. And you could see it, you could see it in, like, Will Smith. Like, Will Smith would be the person he's talking about. And it's just like, are you serious? And then also you saw how beautiful it was that Chris Rock stood his ground. He didn't back down or anything else like that. Like, it was a surprise, but it's just like, yo, are you fucking serious? And then, of course, black men doing this to other black men, which is a whole nother thing. Again, these are all things we're going to hear play out in the manosphere this week. It's going to be crazy. Tomorrow's just going to be crazy for content, I think. By Friday, the amount of panels and everything else, it's going to be amazing. In terms of pushing out, as I call it, the logical perspective. Felix the Observer says, would you say some men are good enough, the women are just self-destructive? Yeah, most definitely. And I'm sorry, you said it a lot better and more to the point. I can talk and everything like that, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. A lot of women are very self-destructive. You can see this in an anecdotal story, but a friend of mine, he was spending money on this woman and taking her out, taking her on trips and everything else like that. I'm talking taking her to Mexico, planning a trip to Texas, planning to get her tits done. She's already gotten her ass done. She's already done stupid shit with PPP loan money and all this other stuff. So, he's doing everything. She's also being self-destructive in her own life in terms of not thinking things through by, taking PPP loan money, and, somehow she's got loan money, and then, she's got a new car or whatever. And then come Valentine's Day, she says, you could be my Valentine, but you can't be my nigga. You could be my Valentine, but you can't be my nigga. And I had told him beforehand, before all this stuff broke out, before this actually happened, I said, if you're not getting what you want out of this chick, you need to leave her alone, dude. You need to stop fucking with her, because you're not getting what you want. And I'm not even saying like, oh, on some pussy shit or whatever. I'm saying you're not getting the attention you want. And again, this is a dude, he's a little bit taller than me. He's definitely 6 foot, and way he weighs quite a bit. Um, but he has a gift of gab, and there is no shortage of pussy with this dude. But you always have that one woman, that one strike, that lightning bolt, as BGS would say, that imprint or what have you. That one woman that gets what other women wish they had, and it was crazy. She said, "You could be my Valentine, but you can't be my nigga." After this dude spent all this money and put all this time into it, which is crazy. And to your point, she was self-destructive, and this guy is more than good enough. He makes 200,000 in sales, and hopefully I can actually do some work with him on that in terms of creating maybe a course or something like that. But it's crazy that these we as men, we check all the boxes. He takes care of his kids. The kids live with him. They're taken care of. They got tutors and everything. They get everything they want in terms of toys, blah, blah, blah. Still not enough for his baby moms, and still not enough for a new woman. I don't get it. And he get bitches. All right, next. I've watched women close to me fail to monkey brands, exercise their own mating strategy in a long game, socially acceptable and sustainable manner. And that's the problem. This is the as Ed said, women run sprints and men run marathons. A person that runs a sprint, they get gassed out. They can't run. If you look at horses and you have like 4 furlongs, I think a furlong is like a quarter of the track or something like that. But if you have 4 furlongs, or one whole of the track, or 100 meters or whatever, or something like that, depending if you're looking at like track terms. But there's some horses that can only run 1 furlong, 2 furlong, but they can't run a whole furlong. Like, they're going to gas out over time. And you could see it if you look at women as horses. Again, they call themselves stallions, which, it's just kind of weird, but anyways. But, you have these mares out here. If you again, I used to spend a lot of time with my dad in horse races, and we always call my dad the church. The horse races for the horse track is my dad's church. He used to go there every Sunday, and I'm talking like, that's like the first time I ever counted like to 100 or past 100 in money. My dad, like, that's how, like, one of the ways I was taught how to count and understand money and everything else like that. And then also understand, like, the gambling and stuff like that. My dad would gamble and, be able to pay rent and stuff like that, or mortgage, really. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like crazy. I don't think it ever really it wasn't that bad. It's somewhat sustainable. Anyways, going on. A lot of horses, there's only certain horses that are meant to actually run the entire race. And a lot of these women cannot run more than a furlong or 100 meters. They're sprinters. But what happens is there are a couple women that actually can run a mile, 2 mile. There's a couple of men that are made for that as well. You're seeing a lot of dudes where they're sprinters. These are your drug dealers. These are your scammers. And they always get caught beforehand, But then you have men that can run a marathon on a longer term basis. And sometimes every so often, when they come back around that track, they pick up a couple sprinters here and there, or fuck a couple sprinters along the way. All right, Jesus, good for you being good counsel. A lot of us just kind of watch each other cash out. I know I missed the significance of that. I apologize. Oh, talking about my friend. Yeah. And, he was going crazy, and I told him, I was like, why are you spending all this money, so on and so forth? Bro, you got it. And I had to show him his work. I was like, there's only a small percentage of men that even make 100 grand. Bitch, you make 200. Nigga, even if your dick was the size of a pinky, that bitch should be trying to suck the ever-loving fucking color off that bitch just because of how rare you are, nigga. Like, I had to tell him like that, and he's just like, yo, man, like, in a couple conversations later, he's like, I never saw this, and I never understood what was happening. So, like, when we talk and everything else like that, so I get a lot of my drama from him, and then I can always just cut it off by not talking to him anymore or something like that. But that's my good friend, man, and we always joke, and he's a good dude, man, and I want to see him do more and do better. And hopefully, hopefully I can, work with him a little bit more. D. Scott, you said far. Is it a furlong or furlong? I'm not sure. Anyways, I apologize for that. All right. It's as if women have have a borderline streak, and I'm not using it just as a buzzword. I've been with a diagnosed borderline. I legit struggle to see differences, and I've said this. Everyone has their way of saying this. It's a mental disorder, mental disease, so on and so forth. A lot of women are walking around cracked. They are literally cracked fucking eggs. They're skull wise. Yes, that is a chicken in the background, or one of my chickens, my mom's chickens actually. But a lot of these women are walking around cracked. Speaking of chickens, like their egg is fucking cracked. Like a lot of these chicks are really fucking cracked, wide open, and their brain matter is just oozing out. They don't know what's going on with them. A lot of women or a lot of people that back in school, and you see them years later and they may be on the side of the road or acting a certain way or just looking real odd or what have you. You start to be like, yo, why is this? I never knew this person was like this. But you had so much fun with them in high school. They were the it person, the it girl. She was loose. He was getting all the bitches. Had so much fun with that person. But what was really happening is their psychoses. And like we as children, as much as we're blunt, we don't understand these things. But we as children don't see this, and we don't understand what our parents are saying in terms of our parents saying, yo, listen, I've seen motherfuckers like this. This shit is not normal for you to act like this and be this way, or always be, these women wanting all this type of excitement. They always need to be in the middle of something. They don't want to live a peaceful, rested life, even at higher advanced ages, getting into 40s, definitely getting into the 50s and even 60s. They always want some type of excitement or drama. There's always some story that they have to be a part of and tell, and so on and so forth. And what that shows you is a lot of them are actually, they have mental disorders, and we don't know how to we don't know how to navigate that. And what happens is it just seems like they're the person to be around, so that's the crazy part about it. Let's get to this. And listen, I appreciate the people that are watching right now. I'm not sure if this was shared or anything else like that, but a lot of people, yeah, they're cracked. D Scott, I'm a little behind. I'm a little behind, but your homeboy's actually at the same chick's level as far as being self-destructive. I'm a little behind, but your homeboy's. You never want to admit that. You never want to agree to something like that. But yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. Because I even told him, I said, hey, listen, man, why are you spending all this money on a woman that's not your wife? I can actually agree with that looking at him in terms of his baby moms that gave him 2 children. He could have married her, but at the same time, he was playing around. Didn't take it seriously. So yeah, I can admit that. I can actually say that. Hopefully he never watches this and put his stuff out there, but you guys won't ever meet him, I guess. But at the same time, these stories in a sense have to be told. So excuse me for gossiping, but yeah, you're right. You are right, D. Scott. Felix the Observer, cracked. I remember your warning to me about city living in Florida, telling me not to let it get to me. Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. There is a lot. Gabriel, I appreciate that. And I'll get to that comment and put it up. But there's a lot of things that happen in your environment. And Florida, South Florida especially, is a very traumatic environment. City living is a very traumatic environment. And you don't understand the trauma. You don't understand why people are so mad when they get to work or come home from work or feel exhausted, mentally and physically exhausted, where they don't want to work out. They always want to get fast food. They don't want to cook. They don't want to do anything. Me moving to the country is probably one of the better things that I've done. And I can still get to the fuck shit if I want to, because I still have that in me. I still want to be a part of something or be a part of a group or people. And also get pussy. But, a lot of people don't understand how traumatic rush hour traffic is, stop and go traffic, traffic jams, the morning commute to work, You know, just being in densely populated metropolitan areas where you have a lot of people, where it's accidents are even high, accidents are higher or higher rate of accidents. So even moving to Georgia and registering as a Georgia resident, my insurance got cut down in half immediately as soon as I did that. I was paying $100, $180 a month for a Ford Explorer, 2017 Ford Explorer. I registered, no, $160 a month. I registered here in Georgia, and before I got home, my new rate was $79 a month. $79 a month. And then even looking at the taxes that you have to pay for all those things that, you know, you have to pay for the ballparks, you have to pay for the strip clubs because, you know, those strip clubs need cops just in case anything happens. You have to pay for the 24-hour-ness of things, all those things being open for longer periods of time. You're going to have to pay for that because you're going to have to, there's more costs in running lights for longer, water longer, employing people, so on and so forth. So you have to pay higher costs of living for all those amenities, if you will, just because you didn't want to, you want to have the ability, or a lot of people want to have the ability to get to a store any period at any point in time and want to consume at any point in time, having nice high-end restaurants and steaks and so on and so forth at any point in the night. Like, you know, you can have at least a decent steak at IHOP if you wanted to, but that costs more money. That's going to cost you more by living in these places. All right. Gabriel Ventura, your streams are always interesting. Thank you. No, thank you, brother. I really do appreciate you guys listening. And I'll try and be quicker, guys. But you guys just have really good comments, and I want to talk about it, especially, you know, this time of night. So why not? And you guys are listening, so I appreciate that. For those that are on the second or on the third shift, the graveyard shift, or getting up. We all meet people at our level, you know. One person said it to me the best, you meet people that resonate with you, and you start to see how you start to resonate with different people at different points in your life. And that says something about me, why, who I go after and who I like and things like that. So that does say a lot about you. BGS put it best, you usually marry not marry, but you always, you get in relationships with your mirror or your anima. In the case of men, your inner feminine, if you will. And sometimes my inner feminine is a booty shaking stripper with tattoos. Yeah. And if she's not a stripper, she still has tattoos, which is crazy because, like, the woman that I would quote unquote go back for had tattoos. And yeah, that girl really loved me. And I loved her too. What the fuck? I was like, my doors are locked. I don't know how I thought somebody was coming in. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, you really do. Water seeks its own level for sure. So a lot of things that we complain about is self-inflicted, most definitely. And I will admit that, but that's the part of breaking it down. Reclaiming choice, as I said in the previous video, or we've already reclaimed choice, meaning now we see that there's other choices than 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking at reclaiming emotion. So by reclaiming emotion, we have to also be honest with our emotions and why we do certain things. Felix, and my God, LOL, it almost got me. I've been here for a year and I haven't seen black people just even kilter down here. I haven't seen black people just even kilter down. Explain that a little bit more. I apologize. I haven't seen black people just. Oh, okay. You haven't seen black people that are just even or like, level-headed. Yeah. There's a lot of people that are extreme. Like, and you even see it with how people drive, man. You're like driving down the road and you're seeing a motherfucking Camry, or no, you're seeing a Corolla, a fucking maybe like a V4 or some shit like that, and they're zooming past you, and you got a fucking V8 or a Mustang or some shit, and I'm seeing these motherfuckers fly, bro. A Nissan Sentra, it's fucking crazy. As soon as you cross the borderline and get to like fucking Jacksonville from where I live, oh, it's fucking ridiculous. Continue on, good sir. Appreciate you, D. Scott. Very traumatic. Folks are traumatized right next to the beach. The very reason I came out here, the beach, to decompress and handle my own things. Yeah, most definitely. I don't know where you are in South Florida. If you're in Fort Lauderdale, I love Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale Beach late at night. And also one thing that's really nice, and this is kind of what I miss because you can, but you can't do that around here. Driving aimlessly on US 1, just going up US 1, man. Just go up US 1 and go down for just Broward County. I don't know if I would do it in Miami, but just going up and down US 1, staying next to the beach, letting that breeze come in, especially on like maybe a hot summer night. So I used to take Sunrise Boulevard all the way down to the Fort Lauderdale Beach. And what I would do is I would drive down south on US 1, and then come back up. There's like a turn where you turn about, and then it gets you back to where where the beach spaces are and stuff like that, and then like where all the shops and everything and the restaurants are for Fort Lauderdale Beach, and then you go past the bridge. There's that like that walkover bridge from the hotel. I think it's like a Sheraton or something like that, and then you just keep on going, and it's really nice. And then also the lighting is very soothing too because they have the yellow lights because of turtles. And there's not too much bright light when it's actually right by the beach. So that's also a nice thing too. Good. I was hoping I wasn't derailing you with your comments. No, not really. I mean, we broke down the song, and this is what happens. A lot of women, a lot of daughters are getting turned out by music like Summer Walker, and then there's also men that are getting into this stuff too, where they actually are signing up for the hoe shit, and they're okay with their women doing hoe shit. Like we're okay now. We're okay. Like in a sense, women have started to program men. It's okay to share women. That's where we're getting at. And I know I'm behind on the comments because I talk too much. Absolutely, human magnet syndrome. Magnet syndrome helped unpack that for me. I've never heard about that. Human mag, and I guess that's like when you attract your attract your equal, if you will. Sick Diggy, road rage, most definitely, yeah, and that's what happens. That's why you see so many road rage incidents in these metropolitan areas because people start going crazy. This is why motherfuckers just pulling up next to you and they got their gun out and shit, or you have to have your gun out to deal with traffic or whatever. And this is why work from home has, in a sense, calmed down a lot of fucking people and also made people say, "Hey, listen, I do not miss this drive." And when they get back into it, they're like, no, I need a work from home position. And you're not going to call me into this motherfucking job to deal with these fucking people or deal with the bus. Sorry, it's not you. I haven't heard the way I typed read out. My fault. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry if I can't read some of these things, man, but I understand how it is. Like when you type and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. It makes sense to you though. But yeah, I'm right in the heat of trauma. Yeah, most definitely. Tampa. Oh, okay. So Tampa area. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're a little bit closer to me then. But yeah, that's another spot where, because you have the football team, things like that. Places where you have football teams, high metropolitan areas, or densely populated metropolitan areas. You're paying a lot more, and you're also dealing with a lot of fuck shit because also the crazier people tend to live in those places, and it's not really just the people that are crazy, but they become crazy because of the environment. And so then you move out of those environments, and then you're like, holy fuck. One of the biggest culture shocks I ever had in my life, which was like a very big paradigm shift or a thought process mindset shift, was when I moved to Missouri to play football for college football for like 2 years. And it was crazy to see you walk down the street and people looked you in the eye and said hi to you. And I was just like, hi to you too, motherfucker. But you come from South Florida where that shit's not normal. It's looked down upon as weak. And if somebody does say hi to you, expect somebody to try and sell you something. They aren't really there for you in a sense. Kind of crazy. That's what happens. I'll put that on my trip itinerary. I've taken a hammocking and solar cooking out there. I've taken up hammocking and solar cooking out there. I'll hit the road once I get an EV or e-skate. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Yeah, that'd be like being out there, really being an e-skate. I've never heard of an e-skate. Oh, okay, that's cool. Fairly new sub. Hello, Black One. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much, man. I don't know if this is the guy that I met the other day at the club, But you know, if that guy is listening, I appreciate you too, bro. Guy, he had a 3500, a 2019 3500 Silverado, and I was just admiring it, man. Like high country and everything. Nice fucking truck, bro. So it was like the model, it was the body type before mine. And yeah, that was a sick fucking truck, man. But with those trucks, man, you gotta like a 3500, man, you better be towing something. It's a good book, Human Magnet Syndrome. Okay, guys, hey guys, check that out. Maybe I have to like listen to that. Maybe see. I'll see if I can find a an audio version of that. That I do have 2 books that I need to listen to now to finish out a series, but I've taken a rest from that. Felix, I touched down in St. Pete and said, "What the." Yes, yeah, exactly, bro. It's like that because as much as people say places like Jacksonville is like a bigger city, Jacksonville doesn't seem like that big or anything to me. But I haven't been in there long enough or whatever. It is I think it's definitely a physically bigger city than it's more popular. It's more populated. Like the entire county is the one city, Jacksonville. It's eating up everything else, and then you have your other suburbs and shit. But it's kind of like what Miami does. But I swear to God, some of these fucking places, man, you go there and you just be like, especially when you're coming from somewhere else, especially if you're coming from like a rural place and you start to see how everybody is like faster, mad. There's always some bullshit going on. Like, and imagine these kids grow up in these quote unquote hoods and they're walking home past this shit all the time. They're walking, like, you know, some kids, after they get out of school, they always make that trip to the corner store to get some candy or some shit. And then they always see that one motherfucker out there begging for money and maybe even accosting them in some way, shape, or form, or traumatizing them, or not even traumatizing. It's not even traumatic or not just traumatic. It's desensitization, but desensitizing them from all the bullshit, and they think that shit's normal. It's like seeing somebody get shot every day. After a while, you're like, man, let me shoot that motherfucker. And you can even go back to slavery with that. Electric skateboards. Okay. I was thinking about that, but I was like, when you said e-skate, I was thinking like rollerblades. I was watching this guy, Philip Grip or something like that. Yo, dude's fucking crazy. He does some wild shit on fucking rollerblades. I'm not, but sounds like a dope truck. Oh, I'm not, but it sounds like, yeah. Oh, okay. You know that guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's a cool ass truck. I love that fucking thing. You never speak about women with hate or rage. I admire that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gabriel. I will admit I do have some, I wouldn't say contempt for women, but more or less I feel sorry for them because, you know, my sister's in her 40s, and as much as I feel disappointed in the way that, you know, a past thing is that the way she treated me, and I won't let that go personally. But it felt like betrayal at first, but now it's more like it's more disappointment than anything. It's more disappointment than anything, but I still love her though, most definitely. And then even like my own mother, you know, and the way she acts and what she does, and just breaking it down and saying, hey, listen, man, you know, you're getting up there. She just turned 65 the other day. And it's just like, you know, you're still doing, I thought you're supposed to get wiser with age in a lot of ways. And yeah, it's sad. But really what it is just, and a lot of the things that men do in this space where, again, it's an emotional space, but men filter things through, filter our emotions through logic, and we try to break down and understand these things. It's not really about hating women. It's past hating women. It's understanding women. When you understand something, you can feel sympathy for it, or you can understand it and actually break it down and not feel and be indifferent to it, because you can't say feel indifferent, I guess, but be indifferent to it. So I don't really hate women. Excuse me. I don't really hate women per se, but I understand them, and I also feel sorry for them, and I feel strongly or passionate enough to say, what the fuck are you doing? This is not going to work for the long term. And, you know, I have my own feelings and aggressions and rage towards certain things. So I will admit that there is some of that in there, but I try not to present that in my content because it's not constructive. And sometimes the conversation gets derailed because it's like, Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern, and stuff like that. We see how those feelings, those emotions can really, because the Lantern cores are usually based off of different emotions, and you have the Red Lantern core and how powerful they are, and so on and so forth, and how you can actually switch from one Lantern core to the next. But you see how a lot of that stuff pushes us to do things that we regret later. Like the folks are abrasive down here in a way that doesn't make sense. Where I'm from, I'm moving with respect where I go, where I, oh, okay, where I've gone. I'm just gonna use that little bit of creative license. I'm moving with respect where I have gone, because you can get hurt, most definitely. You know, a lot of people start talking reckless and crazy, and then they find the right one on the wrong day, and they get really fucked because of it. So you see that a lot where a lot of people are talking reckless and talking out of the side of their fucking neck. And this is the programming that we actually have. And again, back to the Summer Walker, just might be a hoe. The way women act is actually programming dudes, because I know that you have bodies after bodies. I signed up when I called you Bonnie. Like, these guys are signing up for the hoe shit. They're okay with a woman taking care of them. In a lot of cases, dudes are behind the fucking camera, and I'm okay with that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Just don't complain about it later. I've even approached chicks with that shit. I was like, oh, okay, hey, listen, what are you doing for your OnlyFans? What are you doing for your Instagram? You're not doing this. You need to post more of this. You need to do more of this. Hey, if you're gonna do the whole shit, I'm gonna be with you. I mean, listen, as long as I'm getting what I want out of it, and that's the biggest thing, is getting what you want out of it. But as a man, you have to look at that and say, yeah, that's still not good. Long term, that's just not good. And you fall into that, and guys are falling into that, and they're signing up for that. And this is why, like, even though I talk that shit, I'm not really signing up for that. Fuck that. I was like, I know this ain't the stand your ground state. Yeah, I was like, I know this ain't the stand your ground state. Yeah, a lot of people talk about that stand your ground. And we saw that one brother where stand your ground doesn't work for him. And a lot of people are talking all this shit, and like they're gonna fucking do something. And laws like that should scare people, because it's like, yo, listen, you could talk to me any which way you want, but stay your ass right the fuck over there before I put one in your fucking ass, and before you what's it called, infiltrate or enter my personal space. Oh shoot, almost timed you out. Florida sounds tough. LOL, Texas boy here in DFW area. Yeah, I've been to that fucking I think it's the Bush Airport or something like that, or not JFK, but that's a big fucking airport. That was the first airport I ever seen, because Fort Lauderdale did that, where they put a runway over the road, and Fort Lauderdale did that shit. And I saw that with I was at the window seat at the time, and I think we were going to Missouri for a college visit, and oh my god, man, that was the coolest thing when I saw people driving underneath the runway. It is Black One, at least where the people are hurt. I came from your area up the road. Okay, yeah. You're responding, so sorry about that. What happened, Grizz? If that's something you share, Ed, what happened? Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm late on some of these comments. I usually share everything I talk about it, but some things I do keep close to the vest. Oh, okay. You're talking about with my sister. It was just some, I used to take care of my nephew for a long period of time, and I never asked my sister for anything. And my mom, I used to take care of my nephew along with my mom, and never asked for anything. And it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was a very simple thing. It wasn't anything crazy. But what she did is, I had a picture of a gun, my first rifle, on Facebook, and I've explained this story before. And then she was like, "You need to take that down. You shouldn't have that. Blah blah blah." And Black people get killed for guns and stuff like that, and they start coming after people. So I understand it, but at the same time, bitch, I'm grown. And like that's what I want to post. People post guns and shit all the time. Like, yo, calm down. It's not that fucking serious. She told my daddy, and this is the whole shame, guilt, need to be right thing, where women will call other men to do their work because they're not strong enough to deal with a man. So she called my daddy, and then I had to proceed to not curse out my dad, but I said, "Listen, pops, I'm not taking it down. I don't care what you say." And I don't want to talk to my dad like that because I love my dad. I love my dad. I love my parents equally, but I like my dad more. Don't tell my mom, but I really do love my dad. I'm really close with him. But at the same time, like I had to put my foot down. I was like, I'm not taking it down. I don't care what you say. And then after that, I literally cursed my fucking sister out. And I was like, yo, don't you ever in your fucking life do that stupid ass shit again. And I let her have it. And I was like, I took care of your kid for 4 fucking years and you fucking tried me like that, because it goes into the lack of respect and how people are ungrateful. This is why I say ungratefulness is a sin, because a lot of people will be extremely ungrateful to you, even though you've done couple acts of kindness and things like that for them. And at the time it was betrayal. Now I really see it as disappointment, because this is a person that I was very close with. And sometimes I will admit that I do miss my sister, but you're just not going to do that to me and it be okay. So now I take the approach of what Dollar Will says is, you just got to love niggas from afar. Contempt is natural, especially in this environment. Just has to be measured. Yeah, most definitely. You really can't take it too far. You really can't take it too far, and it's something that you have to be disciplined about, and you have to be measured. A couple more comments, and I'll get out for here. If not expected, yeah, okay, all right, cool. I'm unpacking and retching about my mom and older sister's treatment of me and currently. Yeah, my mom's done a couple things, but overly, I love my mom and she's done a lot for me as well. A lot of good things, a lot of great things. But even the other day, I had to tell her, I was like, yo, you need to leave. You need to, because she has a place. She just has to get it up and running just to get the electrical there. But there's a lot of stuff that she has to wait for. I said, as soon as you get that place up and ready, you need to get the fuck out of my house, because you're not going to try me like this. And a lot of people would say, man, that's your mom. You can't talk to her like that, so on and so forth. And I could say, hey, I wasn't, I didn't ask to be here, blah, blah, blah. No, I will be grateful what my mom did, because she did more than a lot of people would. And she charged me little and nothing in terms of rent, especially when I was a grown ass man in her house, because I moved out of that house at 35 and moved into this house, and I'm currently 30. I'm gonna be 37 in November. So I haven't even been in here, this house, for 2 years. So she did a lot for me. But even with that being said, a lot of people will walk over you and treat you like absolute dog shit if you allow them to, and you really have to put down boundaries. It really saddened me when I had to actually put up, and this is again about understanding women, because you also have to, when you understand women, you also have to understand yourself, because you have to understand how you interact with women and where you are actually placed when it comes to talking with women. So I even told her, I said, listen, you're not going to treat me any which way. You're not going to do anything. This is my house and I don't give a flying fuck. You don't try me like that. And I just don't fucking care. You're not just going to disrespect me in my own home, and you're not going to, I try to build something that's peaceful, and you're fucking that up, and you need to calm down, straight up. And you have to set boundaries, and you have to put your foot down. And it's not because I dislike my mom or like her less than my dad, but at the same time, I love myself as well, and I love my peace, and I love my mental, my mind state, and my mental health, so to speak. So you have to do that, and you have to put those boundaries down. And I even had to put those boundaries down even for my own dad. When he talked to me about the guns and stuff, that was probably, I was probably like 30 something or something like that, or a little bit over 30. And I was just like, Pops, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. But you do have to put those boundaries down. And as much as I'd be talking about, like, listen, you need to fucking leave. I'm not going to lie. I'd miss my mom. I'd miss her being around. Sometimes look at her as roommates and stuff like that. And I do care about my mom, but there's other things that she's done that really disgust me. And I don't like. LOL, that story is not dissimilar to mine. My God, I'm not sure if I find solace in y'all having experiences I thought just happened to me. No, listen, you'll understand a lot of this stuff. When you look at the universe in general, it may look chaotic because you're looking at it from, you're looking at it here. But if you if you like, or your finger, and you're looking at the universe from here, and it looks fucking chaotic, and it looks like there's just so much depth to it and everything else like that. But then if you moved away and start to see it for what it is, it's just a hand with fingers, that's connected to a larger system, a larger body. But the chaos which we see on a regular basis is not really chaos. There's a lot of order and repetition and patterns. And that's the whole thing about emotional programming. That's the whole thing about what this space actually does, in terms of like even my agenda and my passion is really to help to reprogram men and to deprogram them, or reprogram them from things like this. I know that you have bodies after bodies. I signed up when I called you Bonnie. These women are turning out our daughters, are the women around us. Beyonce is turning out, like, there's always generations of this, and it gets worse and worse and worse. I just might be a hoe. This is the crazy shit that we deal with on a regular basis, and it gets worse and worse. But we as men that actually see it, it's different when you can, I'm not saying I'm inoculated from it or I'm above it. I still go to strip clubs and I still do pookie shit, if you will. Still be out here buying pussy and talking about tricking and all this other stuff. Still do that. I still know that even the truck that I got the other day, at some point, that is me peacocking for women and other men around here, or two other men around here. But peacocking for women and showing that I am better than the next man over here who only has a 1500 versus my 2500 gas guzzling red diesel truck with the high country badge on it. I understand what that is. But we have to, for us to better understand our environment and everything that's around us and how we and how to move in it and deal with it, we do have to break these things down. We do have to look at the programming, and biggest thing is pattern recognition, aka observation and observation. So pretty much noting what we're seeing and then going as far as to say, hey, listen, this is what I've seen, and this is the thing that keeps on happening. Okay. Yeah, and that's mainly what it is. So, no offense, you're not unique, right? I'm not unique either. There's a lot of men. This is why we have these people that we listen to: your Eds, your Grinch, your BGS, your Angry Man, your O'Shea's, your Blacklight Podcast, your Kevin Samuels, your Glendon Camerons, LAR. Oh man, who else? You have all these people that we resonate with and we understand and have, we want to see they're the embodiment of our thought process, and we want to see them be the next Kevin Samuels or be there in place of Kevin Samuels in some cases. When I see Kevin Samuels, I'm more like, why not BGS or Dr. Tiasan Johnson or something like that? Because those are the people that resonate with me. Or why not an Ed, which is happening, right? Or MTR, or a what's it called? Stephis Cole, or a PMP is a Poor Man's Podcast. Why not these people that embody who I am in my thought process? And again, we talk about embodiment and how these things like hoe. Yeah, it just might be a whole, like Summer Walker is the embodiment of a lot of women in their thought process and how they feel, how they're rebelling, and how they feel that they're not getting what they want out of life, and they're not getting what they want out of relationships. And the best thing that they can think of is, taking control of their sexuality by giving it to anyone they're just turned on about. They don't want to think about it anymore. They want to give into the lust, and I understand that because I give into the lust as well. Tricking is a part of giving into lust, but then, how does that consume you? How does that eat you? How does that fuck you up? Yeah, you want to trick, right? All right, cool. I want this bitch so bad. I want to feel her. I want to be inside her. Oh my God. Take the condom off and you're pissing razor blades. Like, it's just like, it's like, Oh my god. Oh my god, that pussy looks so good. Oh my god, there's a wart on my tongue. This is what happens. We get consumed by these things, right? I tell people my two vices that I am not ashamed of are strippers and ice cream. You know, I know what ice cream does to me. I'm well over 300 pounds, but this shit gets to consume you. If you're not working out, I just came from the gym. If you're not working out to balance these things out, to if you want a trick, all right, cool. But like, what are you doing to make money, save money, invest, or anything else? How are you funding your fucking vices? And a lot of people don't have ways to fund their vices. Vices. Everyone has their vices. Their quote unquote dark side. We're beings that have quote unquote free will. And I like to always say quote unquote because it's like, do we really have it? That's why I always quote. I quote it. Me quoting something is a question mark. But that's what's happening. Or that's what happens quite a bit. Is that you can give into the dark side, and this is something that you see with Batman, but a lot of people, you can give into the dark side or touch that dark side, but it consuming you is a whole nother thing. And it happens because you just give into it, that type of shit. It's just like, I know I shouldn't, but whatever stuff is called says, like you just like, oh, she'll be a good mother. And it's like, you just paid this bitch $200. She's not, no, she shouldn't even be a bitch that you fuck raw, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like shit like that. But people do that and they get caught up, and they get caught at the doctor's office. Yeep. That's moms. You can't do that. You just get one. You just get one. Yep. That's moms. You can't do that. You just get one. I somewhat understand that. It's just the way I'm reading it. Yeah, it could be just the way I'm reading. I'm sorry about that, Felix. I feel so bad, like not getting the meaning behind what people say, and everything, or reading what like their thoughts. I feel so bad about that. So I apologize, Felix. I don't mean to put you out there. Handro, you'll really be cooked chicken if you take that construction hat off. Yeah, most definitely. If you take that hard hat off and let that steel beam rest upon your motherfucking head, aka give you some type of crazy ass fucking disease and shit. But we get so caught up with we get so caught into our lust. Old comment. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'd be taking too long in some of the previous comment. Yeah, but we get so caught up in our lust and our need for certain things that we don't even understand what we're doing. Like, if you look at Will Smith and what he actually did tonight, like, yo, what type? This is an actor. This is the person that plays roles and so on and so forth. I won't say that he's not a human being and he's not, he's not, he doesn't have the right to feel and, even protect his woman. But at the same time, we as men were held to a higher standard. Whether that standard be right or not, why would you do that? Because at one point he was laughing at the joke. Next thing you know, he's up on stage trying to take this motherfucker's head off. And Chris Rock pretty much ate that shit. Bam! And I'm like, what the fuck? Did he slap him with his white glove? Like, god damn, he ate that little nigga shit. It's crazy. Talking about mothers. Nah, man, you're jumping back and forth impressively. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I try to keep up with it, and you guys have good comments, and then it also just like this, but it also, if I'm going off on a tangent here, it's also one thing that's really great about this space in terms of the comment section, especially my days in the red pill, general white manosphere spaces. But one thing that's great about this space is that it forces you to look at yourself, even in some of the comments you write, because you start to say certain things and you go back, maybe you leave the comment notifications on for a comment and it's 2 years later and you're like, why the fuck did I say that? Like, that's an old way of thinking. Or why do I still think that way with the information that I know 2 to 3 years later? Like I remember I get notifications. I turned some notifications back on. It's pretty interesting on some of the videos that I used to comment on, and seeing that, some of my comments have like 2,000 likes or more. And it's just like, holy shit. And then I'll see some other comments and I'll be like, yo, why did I say that? Or no, that's still right. Things like that. So it's really kind of crazy to see the progression. But the point I'm really trying to make here is that this shit is therapeutic. Just like our brother Black Ram 313 says, it's therapeutic. A lot of this stuff when we're talking about these things and we're examining ourselves or doing the introspection, being an introspective Black man of reform, and looking within ourselves, it's really important for us to break those things down and face those things and confront them. One of the biggest things is what I like to do is, being upfront or confronting my fears per se, or kind of like self-accountability. If I'm mad about something, or like, yo, Mike, why do I feel this way about my friend? Well, Mike, you're jealous of this person getting more money or getting more women or doing things that you wouldn't do. Not that you can't, but you wouldn't do. Like, like, oh, okay, this person's going on a trip. How do they always get to go on trips and I don't? It's like, well, because you spend your money in other places. You spend your money on a truck, or a home with a larger plot of land, or a workshop, or on credit card bills because you want to spend, money here and not wait to save up, or you put money towards your investments. A lot of times when I envy or am jealous or feel a way about something, I really do. I look at it and examine it and say, why do I feel this way about something that I have control over? And that's a big thing. And it led me to one of my sayings, and I'll say this and I'll wrap it up because I think I bought some M&Ms, but I didn't bring it in. But yes, I buy M&Ms after I go to the gym. But this is why I have this one saying. A lot of people will not admit that they're getting everything that they want out of life. Let me repeat that. A lot of people will not admit that they're getting everything that they want out of life. Often I think about like real statements that help me define or clarify or understand better who I am, my thought process, and then how do I interact with other people. Another one was, I don't respect you enough to lie to you. So that's me telling a person, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you to not hurt your feelings. Back to the saying, a lot of people don't want to admit that they're getting everything that they want out of life. A lot of people don't understand that the life that they're living right now is what they actually want. If I wanted to, damn, it's 4:39 and the buses are starting to roll out. Shit. I say, no, it's late. A lot of people don't want to admit that they are doing everything, or they're getting everything that they want, and they don't want more. A lot of people don't want to say, hey, listen, I want more. I want to do this. I want to go on these trips. I want to, do X, Y, and Z. But they're not doing the things that are necessary to put them in the positions to where that they can do more, that they can achieve the things that they want. Like, you don't have that Mustang, you don't have that Mercedes, you don't have that truck that you want, you don't have the land that you want or the house that you want, because it's not what you really want. I don't have the woman that I want. I don't have kids, and I don't have I don't have the quote unquote body that I want, because I'm not doing any things that are required to get that. Like, okay, I leave the gym, I buy a pack of M&Ms. Do you really want to fucking be cut up? You really want to be a little bit more a better physique, have the body gain, as Ed was talking about earlier today? Do you really but it shows what I do want. I do want a decent home on a nice plot of land. I got it. I do want a more higher end truck. Got it. It's funny. I do want a workshop. Got it. we're not, a lot of times we get up and we face our challenges, faces our day, and we don't want to admit that, hey, listen, another thing that's traumatic is living your life. Another thing that's traumatic is living your life and not liking what you're getting out of it. Like, that's another trauma thing. And in some cases, people bond with that. That's why you have your work husbands and work wives and stuff like that. We start to bond in these places, find camaraderie in these places, and that helps us get us through, us not wanting to do these things, not wanting. It's like, man, I thought my life would be better. I thought my life would be different. Let me take this comment down. Sorry. I thought my life would be better. I thought my life would be different. I thought I would be richer by now. I thought I would look better. I thought I would weigh less. I thought I would be making more money by now. And you really have to ask yourself and really like inspect what you're doing on a regular basis. All right. So with that being said, I do appreciate the people that are still listening here. As I always say, like, I really do love you all. I really do appreciate you all. This is therapeutic for me. I do appreciate a lot of times. Also, this is I tell people, like, hey, listen, some of this stuff is for my nephew. My nephew's in the or my nephew and his friend. I call him my nephew too, his friend, that is. But it's for them, and it's just so that they can look back at it, and then even if I have kids one day, that they can look back at it. And then they can gain something from it. And, also, of course, the people that are actually in this space that are interacting in the comment sections, in the chats and things like that. And, putting themselves out there as well, even with an avatar and anonymity, so to speak, but they're putting themselves out there because they want to be critiqued or looked at, or they also want to say that, hey, I'm with you too. They want to have somebody that is along with them, like, Felix. Thanks for the space, Grizz. Yeah, man. I appreciate you too, man. Like, we want to find people that are like us, because finding people that are like us, especially if you play it on a team, you start to see where, if you're in the Army, you have your battles. If you're on a football team, you have your offensive and defensive linemen, your brothers and stuff like that you can still talk to, and you can, you remember the old days when you push people around on the offense or defensive line, like I do, like I had. And, you never forget those, those moments. And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's beautiful. It's great. But the other part of that is not just reminiscing. We also have to have brothers and brotherhood that is beneficial and pushing us to do better. And that's another thing that I appreciate this space for, and for those that are not just listening, but commenting and engaging. And then, of course, others that, that are supporting content creators as well. Not myself. I always say, like, invest in yourself before you invest in me, because I'm probably just going to use it to buy Firehouse subs. But I appreciate that, because that's money I didn't have before. But, it's great to invest in other people, because that makes them want to talk more and also help you more a little bit too. So put your money where you want. I'm not saying that to give me money or anything, but I'm just saying that, in general, we really do need to be promoting more men in this space, because we see that this space means a lot to so many people. And the people that came before, that were grassroots, that didn't ask for anything, that didn't have all these Cash Apps and Venmos and Zells and PayPal, more like, PayPal being even heavier than it is now, that didn't have all this, like, what do they do it for? And it was for the betterment of their community and the people around them. And that's what it really is for. But now we're getting to a point where it's growing and it needs to be funded. And definitely, guys, shoot a couple dollars to your favorite content creator, and make sure that they know that they are wanted, and they don't fucking say they're not a part of the space every other fucking week or some bullshit, whatever, but yeah, nobody's a part of the space. And then yet somehow everybody's going to be talking about Will Smith this week and talking about red pill talking points and terminologies and shit like that. Go figure. All right, guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you all the comments and everything. And I really do love you. And I said that a couple times, but that means I really mean it. All right. With that being said, good morning, good night, and I wish you all the best in your day. Peace.